The long-delayed project to improve the I-210 bridge hits another speed bump. And more on how Louisiana is looking to reduce its nation-leading incarceration rates. Plus, a school bus crash in Jefferson Parish sent several students to the hospital. This is Now at 9 live.
Sponsored by Market Basket. From KPLC 7 News, this is Fox 29 News Now at 9.
Good evening, I'm Jillian Corder. Drivers in Southwest Louisiana were told to brace themselves this summer for major construction on the 210 bridge. But that project has been pushed back again, maybe even another year before work begins. Today we got an update from the Department of Transportation.
Probably 2 years we'll have two-way traffic on I-210, one lane in each direction.
It's a major project, and not just because of its estimated $30 million price tag.
Redecking the main spans, and that's a 930-foot span of the main deck on top.
Improvements include updated rails, catwalks under the bridge, and general repairs on the aging structure. But before that rehab project can begin,
in advance of that work, we're going to be doing some work on the I-10 corridor through Lake Charles.
Work on Interstate 10 must be completed.
Get our adjacent or alternate routes across the river in shape.
At one time, the 210 rehab was expected to start summer 2016. But as the seasons change, so does the project and its start date.
Of course, the letting date for this project is now November the 16th. We know that the letting date has been pushed back a few times. The more we looked into the project and the more that traffic started building in our area, the more we realized that we have to put some more items into the contract.
But even once bids start rolling in come November, several months will go by before the repairs to I-10 overpasses get started, and those could take some time.
I-10 will be worked on for a series of months, a matter of months, before the joints on I-10 have been repaired and reconstructed.
So when might 210 finally see construction?
We're looking next summer-ish before actual construction on I-210, and of course that's an estimate as well.
The department hopes to be as prepared as possible before that construction begins. DOTD says it's going to be a headache for drivers no matter when it happens, and unfortunately it can't be avoided. Well, Jeff Davis Parish is still in the recovery process after recent flooding. If you need assistance during these difficult times, there are programs out there that can help. The Department of Children and Family Services is now offering D-SNAP at the Immaculate Conception Church in Jennings. It's a food stamp program for those who've been affected by the floods in Jeff Davis. It's based off a person's income and resources during the disaster period from August 10th to September 8th. The area director says the program will help people get back on track.
It'll help people kind of start getting back to on their feet and recovering, and at least being able to purchase food if they've been, displaced from their homes or maybe, missed work and things like that because of the flooding.
The program started today and will last until Saturday. For more information on how to sign up, head over to watchfox29.com. Meanwhile, the Jeff Davis Chamber of Commerce is reminding residents of an important disaster assistance meeting. It's this Thursday at 10 a.m. at the Lake Arthur Community Center. Those attending will learn about the types of disaster loans available, requirements and restrictions, interest rates, and more. For more information about that meeting, contact the Chamber at 337-824-0933. And the Louisiana Workforce Commission is still accepting applications for disaster unemployment assistance. This is for workers and self-employed individuals who lost work or money due to the flood. The deadline for the application is October 14th for Jeff Davis Parish. And residents along some of the hardest hit areas, such as Ascension Parish, say it's been a frustrating recovery process. Their backyards are still flooded and many roadways haven't been cleaned up either. Residents say drainage has been very slow because of the high water level of nearby Bayou Manchac. Louisiana leads the nation with its incarceration rate. A legislative audit finds Louisiana has more nonviolent offenders behind bars than the national average. Teresa Schmidt has our report.
According to the Louisiana Department of Corrections, of the 128,000 plus incarcerated or on supervision between 2009 and 2015, nearly 60% had nonviolent offenses only, and close to 18% had drug offenses only. The legislative auditor did the report to look for strategies to reduce incarceration rates for nonviolent offenders at key points in the criminal justice system. Lake Charles businessman Nick Priu nearly died in an armed robbery. The fact that he survived inspires him to do what he can to help those in trouble with the law. He teaches a faith-based class that includes many on pretrial diversion.
It's more than just my opinion and my thoughts. We have a lot of credibility when we bring the scriptures and how to use scripture for everyday living to help these people turn their lives around.
Calcasieu District Attorney John DeRosier says over the past 10 years, his office has extensively expanded its pretrial diversion program to include nonviolent felonies and misdemeanors.
Our job and our mission is not to put impaired drivers in jail. Our mission is to keep impaired drivers from getting behind the wheel of an automobile. If they have an impairment that is caused by either drugs or alcohol, we want to help treat that impairment and keep that person away from being a danger to themselves or the rest of society.
DeRosier says the program has multiple requirements and succeeds in reducing the chance someone will reoffend. Teresa Schmidt, now at 9.
To check out the full report from the legislative auditor, go to watchfox29.com for a link. A Sulphur woman is accused of stealing several $1 million from her employer. They say it took Elizabeth Missy East about 10 years to steal $4 million while she worked as the oil company's bookkeeper. Investigators say East wrote herself more than 800 checks totaling more than $4 million and used the money to buy land and numerous vehicles. She's charged with 4 counts of wire fraud. In court today, she entered a not guilty plea. A trial date is set for comedian Bill Cosby, accused of sexual assault. A judge set June 5th of next year as the trial date for the case. The 79-year-old entertainer is charged with drugging and sexually assaulting a woman who he mentored at Temple University in 2004. Cosby has pleaded not guilty. A school bus carrying children crashed into a canal in Jefferson Parish. It happened as students were making their way to a track meet. As the bus driver attempted to maneuver through a U-turn, she somehow lost control and went straight into the canal. 34 students were on the bus, and according to the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, 3 were transported to the hospital. Students on the bus think the driver may have been distracted in some way while making the turn, and now parents think there should be serious changes to make the open canals safer.
I think they should cover them, especially around a school zone. School zone should be a safety all the way.
And when we made the U-turn, the bus driver was just like dancing around, like driving, and then to the radio, and then she, like all of a sudden, like everybody just like moves and like there's a big bump, and then we go into the canal, and it was pretty scary.
The bus driver was cited for careless operation. A portion of the Houston Ship Channel was closed today after a tanker caught fire and spilled fuel oil into the water. The U.S. Coast Guard says the tanker was punctured and caught on fire around midnight. The oil tanker wasn't carrying any freight when the accident happened, and the fire was extinguished. The Coast Guard is trying to determine how much fuel was spilled and what caused the puncture. No one was injured, and the Ship Channel has reopened. Coming up next, a major for-profit university is shutting its doors, and a controversial NFL player's jersey becomes a top seller. ITT Technical Institute is closing its doors. The for-profit university says it's ceasing operations of all its locations immediately. The college says the closures are due to an investigation and sanctions by the U.S. Department of Education over recruiting and accounting practices at the school. Last week, the Education Department banned the college from enrolling new students who use federal financial aid. ITT has also been ordered to pay $152 million to the federal government to cover student refunds and other liabilities. Under the new measures, current students cannot continue receiving federal grants and loans. The school has locations in 35 states, including Louisiana. Guns are selling at unprecedented levels. Background checks conducted by the FBI every month this year has hit an all-time high. Background checks don't correlate directly to gun sales, but they do serve as an important indicator since there are no industry figures for gun sales. Mass shootings in the last several years have helped drive gun sales, while gun buyers worry that every mass shooting will prompt more restrictive gun control laws. And the jersey for controversial pro football player Colin Kaepernick is now the #1 seller on the NFL's website. The spike in sales comes after Kaepernick's decision to sit during the national anthem to protest racial injustice and police brutality. And it's another major shakeup at Fox News. Anchor Greta Van Susteren is leaving the national news outlet. The 14-year veteran went on Facebook to explain her sudden exit, saying, quote, "Fox has not felt like home to me for a few years." She says she was unhappy how former chief Roger Ailes ran the network. Ailes stepped down last month after becoming involved in a sexual harassment scandal. She says she hopes to continue her career in broadcasting. And Wade, we saw some more showers again today. Can we expect that for the week?
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any major changes for sure, Jillian. Look at our almanac real quick. When we look back in history 5 years ago, we started off kind of cool. Look at this. 57 was where we started 5 years ago. That was courtesy of Tropical Storm Lee that affected southeastern Louisiana. Bad news, I don't see anything like that in our forecast anytime soon. I'll have your 7-day after this. Well, good evening to you. We did see some rain around earlier today, but most of that has come to an end. Here's a live look at 7 Storm Vision HD here as of 9:16 on this Tuesday evening. Not much left, although there are a couple of little showers still showing up here on 7 Storm Vision HD. You can see that going on just west of the Oakdale area, although it looks like that has really fallen apart within the last couple of minutes, but there may still be a lingering sprinkle or two. We'll zoom in a little closer and get your bearings. There's the Sugartown area. This is, of course, northeastern Beauregard Parish. This is northwest Allen. That's southern Vernon Parish right there. So you can kind of see right there where those 3 different parishes merge is where what's left of this little shower is ongoing, but looks like that is quickly falling apart. And I think most of the rain will be done within the next 15 to 30 minutes, and I don't really expect any more rain overnight tonight. In fact, here's the high-resolution computer model showing those couple little showers, but notice the quick decrease in the coverage of rain as we head within the next hour or so. So yeah, bottom line, what few showers are out there I think will come to an end. Overnight, can't rule out a couple of isolated showers, but I think the chance for rain overnight is only about 10%, and probably the best chance for seeing rain would be near the immediate coastline where there's a little bit more in the way of moisture coming into southwest Louisiana. So here's a look at the next 12-hour forecast. Temperatures right now still setting in the low to mid 80s. We'll fall back through the mid 70s, but once the sun's up, yeah, it's going to be warming quickly. By 10 a.m. we'll be back into the mid 80s. I don't expect much rain in the early part of the day, but still a decent chance for some showers and thunderstorms as we head into the afternoon. Quick look at the tropics. Good news here, nothing going on. There's hardly any clouds in the Gulf at all. There was a system known as Invest 92 in the central Caribbean Sea, but that has all but fallen apart. The Hurricane Center not even classifying it Invest 92. Also watching what could become Invest 93 out over the eastern Atlantic near the Cape Verde Islands. But so far, no organization with that system. We'll track it for you and keep you posted, but I don't think it's going to cause us any problems. Here's our Futurecast computer model. We've got high pressure that's building in from the east, and what that's going to do is causes the air, especially up above us, to dry out, and dry air up above us makes it a little harder for showers to form. But notice I didn't say impossible. We'll keep the rain chance tomorrow at 40%. A little bit lower, but still rain in our forecast even on Thursday at a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms. In the long-range forecast, this high stays in place through the end of the week, so all in all, rain chances stay at about 30%. For tonight, temperatures in the mid-70s, clouds clearing, warm and muggy. Your 7-day forecast looks like this. We'll put that rain chance at 40% for tomorrow, a little bit lower at 30% on Thursday, as well as Friday. The weekend, we're going to have to watch. There's going to be a cold front getting closer to us, but at this point, I don't think it's going to bother us, but of course, I'll continue to track it and keep you posted.
A cold front bothering us?
Yeah.
We'd welcome that, I
Other
think.
than it could bring rain if it were to come in. So.
Well, there's always that.
Yeah, there's always a negative.
Thanks, Wade. Well, coming up, the fight against the Zika virus hits a major roadblock. That's next on Now at 9. Senate Democrats blocked a $1.1 billion bill to fight the Zika virus. Mary Maloney explains this comes as more cases of the potentially devastating virus have been reported in South Florida.
Crews in the sky and on the ground in Florida trying to fight Zika. In Washington, a different kind of battle over how to pay for the fight.
We have the opportunity to provide the funding to help combat the mosquito-borne Zika virus.
On the table, a $1.1 billion bill passed by the House.
We know that we can save lives. This isn't something that's up in the air, debatable.
But Democrats cry foul, pointing to provisions blocking Planned Parenthood funding and stripping a ban on Confederate flags in military cemeteries.
The display of the Confederate flag. There are some people that want the display in certain areas. What does that have to do with Zika?
While campaigning in the Sunshine State, Hillary Clinton also accused Republicans of playing politics.
Put people before politics and finally vote in favor of a clean funding bill to fight Zika right here in Florida.
The bill needed 60 votes to pass, but Senate Democrats blocked the measure.
On this vote, the yeas are 52, the nays are 46.
Several congressional Republicans have suggested they might lump Zika funding in with other government spending measures, resolving the issue before the end of the month.
No one should doubt the gravity of the threat or the long-term health consequences of failing to get our work done.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
The last remaining patient still hospitalized after the mass shooting at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando went home today. The Orlando Regional Medical Center confirmed the news on Twitter. The hospital says it treated 35 patients from the shooting and completed 76 operations after a gunman opened fire at the nightclub, killing 49 people and wounding dozens more back in June. A memorial to mark the upcoming September 11th anniversary is going up near St. Louis. More than 7,000 American flags will be on display, each one representing an American military member killed while fighting the war on terror. The flags are in chronological order from the first troop killed until the most recent death. Organizers say each flagpole will hold the dog tags, a photo, and a brief biography of the military member who made the ultimate sacrifice. A group called Flags of Valor is behind the project. The chairperson of the event, Chris Andrews, lost her daughter in March 2006.
Amanda was amazing, wonderful. She was a true hero. It means so much that people will just come here and see the sacrifice that our loved ones have made. I've been emotional probably for 4 or 5 months now as we've put all this together and assembled these dog tags and pictures of our fallen heroes.
The group hopes to raise about $500,000 on flag sales after the event ends on September 12th. The money will go to charities supporting veterans. Well, coming up next, Wade has a final check of the weather, and a landmark sci-fi series is celebrating 50 years of exploring the final frontier. The Star Trek franchise is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. Jonathan Hunt tells us why the series and its fans still grips fans after all these years.
Boldly going where no franchise has gone before, Star Trek is celebrating its 50th anniversary with a loyal fan base that continues to grow.
It's the fans that create this phenomenon, this longevity and this prosperity for Star Trek.
The science fiction TV series created by Gene Roddenberry in 1966 only ran for 3 seasons, but warped into 5 more shows and 13 big screen films, including the latest Star Trek Beyond.
Let's make some noise. I think it's got themes and ideas that set it apart as a franchise because they're actually relevant and resonant to today's society, and that's something that's always been a cornerstone of Star Trek.
And with a new original series, Star Trek Discovery, due to hit the web in 2017, former cast members believe the central theme continues to live long and prosper.
We feel very grateful for the fans because, you know, Gene Roddenberry created the series. It was his vision and his philosophy and his belief in his confidence in humankind's ability to solve problems and move forward.
It's a future where technology and exploration and science ennoble man rather than destroy him. And that's a message that is so important now.
This, then, is the epic journey of the Starship Enterprise.
In Hollywood, Jonathan Hunt, Fox News.
All right, first thing tomorrow morning, the kids getting ready to head out the door to school. It should be warm and muggy, temperatures in the mid-70s. By the time they get out of school, near 90 or so, there likely will be some rain and some thunderstorms around. Rain chance tomorrow at 40%. We'll drop that down to a 30% chance for rain. After that, right on into the weekend.
Warm, muggy, and rain.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sounds like a good week. All right. Well, that's all for now at 9. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.